County Judge Houston Wells. Welcome to County Connections. Today we have our very special guest from CASA. We're going to talk today about how you could volunteer for CASA. We're going to talk about the events of CASA, and most importantly, the history of CASA. To start with, we have Connie Rydell, a volunteer coordinator with CASA, to tell us about the history of CASA. Connie, let's talk about the history of CASA. Tell us a little bit about it.
All right. The CASA was started in Seattle, Washington in 1974 by a family court judge. He decided that he wanted a little extra help beyond what the state did with these children. He appointed citizen volunteers to form CASA, court-appointed special advocate. And therefore, this really worked out well because these folks could get in homes and schools and do a lot of different things for these children that sometimes the social worker could not do. This was very important, and it took a while for it to get to Frankfort, but in 2000 it was established in the Frankfort, Kentucky office by Judge Reed Rohr. I was in the first training class in 2000 and was a volunteer for several years, and now I'm on staff. CASA's been very influential with these people. Some of our families are very upset and disorganized when the state walks in and takes their children. CASA can work and do things with these children that sometimes the social workers cannot do. We are the voice for the child in the courtroom, and that's really important. And we are advocates for the child, not anyone else. We do visit the families, anyone that's connected with these children for any reason. We do interview them, but the child is the most important thing, and that's what CASA does.
That's awesome. So you work very closely with the court system and social workers in helping the children.
We do, yes. We work very closely when they come into court. As a social worker brings them to court, the judge sees he'd like to have another opinion, maybe just to see what's going on with the family. So CASA is appointed by the judge, and then we report back to him our findings.
Thank you so much for that history. And we have another person that's going to talk about the events with CASA, Jody Spalding. Jody, welcome. Thank you for being here. Let's talk about what's all the things that are happening with CASA.
Thank you, Judge Wells. I'm going to read from my paper here because it's too much information to remember. As the program coordinator of the Franklin County office, I'm going to share with you about upcoming events and statistics regarding the children that we advocate for. In 2018, there were 362 child victims that were advocated for in CASA of the Bluegrass. 205 of those victims were appointed a volunteer from CASA, and 170 of those children found safe permanent homes due to the work of the CASA volunteer. There are 97 of 362 child victims out of Franklin County alone. 118 new petitions of child abuse and neglect in Franklin County alone. Your help is greatly needed as a CASA volunteer. If you have the heart to advocate for a child that is living in a home of abuse and neglect, you can contact our office. We have some upcoming events. In October, we have a CASA Superhero 5K run that's going to take place in Danville. Then in November, we have the 11th annual Chili Luncheon that's put on every year at the VFW here in Frankfort. And then November the 8th, we have the first annual bourbon event, A Little Taste of the Trace, that's going to be held at Buffalo Trace. If you'd like to know more about these events, feel free to get on our Facebook page at CASA of the Bluegrass. And next we have Colleen Gelbach, the volunteer coordinator, that'll tell you about becoming a volunteer and how to donate.
Thank you, Jody. Welcome, Colleen.
Thank you. So volunteering with CASA is, we've made it as simple as possible. And in order to become a volunteer with our program, we have it established on our, you can do this online. Apply online is probably the easiest way to do that. And you can do that by going online to www.casaofthebluegrass.org. Another way to volunteer, if you'd like to do it in person, that's great. You can always call our office at 502-875-0702 and let us know that you would like to talk to somebody about becoming a volunteer. It is the most rewarding volunteer work I can possibly think that somebody can do for your communities here in Frankfort. And our surrounding counties. Now, this particular CASA of the Bluegrass isn't just for Frankfort. We also cover Anderson, Boyle, and Mercer County as well. So if you would like to talk to somebody about becoming a volunteer and what that entails, it's very easy. Does not take much time at all. We'd love to sit down and talk with you. It's very rewarding. And if you have any questions, we also have a really great Facebook page, CASA of the Bluegrass. Just check us out on Facebook. You can always message us on that as well to contact us and if you have any questions or any concerns. We do extensive background checks, so if somebody does have to, go through that. But the volunteering is, each volunteer has to go through a 30-hour pre-service training. And it's fairly extensive, but there is really just so much to know in order to properly, volunteer and be the voice for a child. So if you have the time and the heart, please contact us. And thank you so much for having us out here today.
Thank you. And just a question for those people that might be interested. Let's say they're retired. Do you need any special skills? Anything special about being a CASA volunteer? Other than loving kids.
Well, that is the first thing that I was going to say. Really, you do not. You just need to, have some time. And, one of our one of the best volunteers that we have is somebody who is retired. And, but we also have people who work full time. We have people who work part time. And so they pick up volunteering as, something that they like to do to give back to the community. So I hope that answers your question.
Sure does.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jody, you were speaking on some events for fundraising. How is CASA funded?
CASA receives funds from grants, fundraising, and we have been added to the state budget. So, but majority of our funding comes from grants and fundraising. If you'd like to make a donation to CASA, you can do that on our website at www.casaofthebluegrass.org, or you can mail a check to our office at 315 West Main Street, suite number 208.
And one other information, let's go back to Colleen about, once again, if somebody wants to volunteer, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, super simple. So you just need to go to our website at www.casaofthebluegrass.org, or you can go to our Facebook page and send us a message on that. It's super simple, CASA of the Bluegrass. Or please do call our office anytime at 502-875-0702. Those are the best and easiest ways.
There you go. Thank you. Jody, Connie, Colleen, thank you. Thanks, CASA. Thanks to CASA for what you do for our kids, our community. Thank you so much. Once again, this is County Connections. I'm Judge Houston Wells. Thank you for watching this. We hope that you learned something today about CASA and learned how, if you would, be a volunteer to help CASA help our children in our community. Thanks for watching.